Okay.
Yeah, seems like we're live. Okay,
Okay.
welcome everybody. This is our third broadcast called Movement Worldwide Chats. So this is our guest from Portugal, Pedro. Hi, Pedro.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
How are you? Yeah.
I'm fine.
Um,
Fine. Thank you.
Hope that your family, the people at home, and the people make you feel home all are safe because here things are as well better.
For
And
now, it's all
hope,
good, and hope it's all good with you, family, friends.
yeah, sure. Hope that all the people are watching us is safe too. Um, for you and the people are who's meeting us for the first time, I want to introduce the association with your permission. MÜFMET is an association based in Istanbul and founded by the people graduated from our faculty, and their vision and mission is to gathering people graduated from the school, the current students, the academicians, the people who is on personal in in the faculty, and they're growing up together that way. And there are some projects. I'm the on the branch of international projects, and this is one of the concept of this. And actually, they're a new, uh, maybe 5 6 years, I guess. I don't know exactly, but they're a new association, and the founders are quite young, but they rustled up very fast and they did so much things. Great job. And they sent so many students on abroad. So Gözde was one of them, and luckily she made us met you. So let us know you better.
Okay. First of all, like I said, I hope it's all good with you and our broadcasters following this in their home. And I want to thank you for allowing me to take part on this great initiative. Like I said that I already watched the previous previous broadcast and I really enjoy it. Talking about a little bit about myself. I'm Pedro. I'm studying law, currently in the second year. I started studying law because the means to an end. I want to enter politics, and the best job, best uh, best thing to do is to study law, and then I want to take a degree in politics and economics, and for that I will study law, uh, work 2 to 3 5 years as a lawyer, and then I will go back to study to take politics and economics.
Okay, this is the plan.
This is the plan.
Yeah, so your family was supporting you, or it was your decision, just yours?
The decision to enter law was just mine. I was thinking to enter to just directly to science and politics and economics, but then I watched a little. My uncle is a lawyer, and I really enjoyed that see him work. And then I think again, and I say, okay, I will study law, and after studying law, I will take the degree in economics and politics.
Okay. So can you just tell us about how many years your studies going as for the license and for the upper graduation? How many years it takes?
Okay, it's 4 years in law school. After that, we have 18 months of internship to went to the bar association. After that, we have to be pass an exam, a final exam, and then we can become a lawyer.
You have a special exam for being a lawyer again.
What can you? I didn't listen. I didn't
I
understand.
said for us when we graduated after 1 year, we can be a lawyer directly without an examination. But you said that you have a special exam for it. again?
Yes, yes. Yeah, after the law school, you can practice law. You can't. You have to take a 18 months internship, and after that, you have to take an exam to enter in the bar association.
And is it the same for being, for example, you want to be a judge or
Ju-
prosecutor?
Judge
The
is
same.
a real complicated process to begin. You have to practice law. After that, you have to enter in a concourse. Uh, have to pass another exam, an oral and a writing exam, a few.
Like
A
an
few.
interview, right? You
Yes,
have
like
to be passed with a written exam and another interview.
yes. It's complicated. Only 300 last year, I think, was open 300, a little bit over 1,000 candidates. Only 300 stay as judge.
So you don't have to answer this, but they do some cheats on the interviews, like, you know, um, for example, I am the jury on the interview, and here's my nephew. She wants to be a judge. So it happens to you?
Uh, Personally, I can say it because I didn't see anything, but I heard stories that it's a little
Yeah.
bit easy to pass the exam if you are friends with someone else. But personally, I can talk to myself. I can talk to myself because I didn't see anything, but I only heard stories.
Okay.
So,
So we heard that relatively the process, pandemic process was a little bit better from the other countries like Germany, Italy, but we don't know the details. So maybe you can just talk about it a bit.
the details of
How
what?
was the situation here?
Yeah.
The pandemic situation I'm
Okay.
asking for. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say that COVID was a roller coaster to the Portuguese people. Looking at the beginning, our government initial response was quick, effective, and very tough, but the people understand it perfectly. But, however, over the time, with the long time the government asked you to stay at home along 2 months, people started to break all the rules of social distance and completely. We are after in the state of emergency. The last days was we see new cases of 68, 70. Now we are seeing 300 cases per day. That comparing to our proportional population is very very bad because 22% of our population are over 65 years old, and we see 7 to 10, 11 deaths per day. It's really it's really bad because some people die. But it was necessary to have imposed. I would like to say that we follow all the rules in the book, but that we didn't. Violations of not wearing a mask in some local and closed spaces, gathering of more than 200 people. Last week, we have an illegal party of 46 people that results in 200 plus infected. That's we see a current violation of the rules, and we are completely regressing the good job that we did in the first place. Um,
But you saw an aggression to the government, like you found that the precautions weren't enough, or I
no,
mean, it began to an inner war, like
in the war in
I
the
mean,
in government.
this is not a political situation, but it, sometimes people always I mean, this is not nice, but because of the ignorance, they always trying to blame the people on the government because they always found something wasn't enough, something was a mistake didn't they did.
In
So
in this topic. In the first place, after we saw the Spain and Italy situation, you are the first. You are one of the first countries to impose the state of emergency because people just asked for it and the government accepted, and it was necessary. Looking back, I completely agree with the state of emergency. But then all the problems corrupt. We see populist techniques using by the far right uh, say that this pandemic is a virus coming from China to conquer the world and something like that. And the people still don't trust our government. They don't trust our current cases. They say this. I don't say a nice word to express myself, but they say it's bullshit. 300 cases and they don't leave more. But the situation in our parliament, I have to admire the opposition government. They stepped down. They told the government, okay, this is a pandemic and grave issue, and we'll support you in every way possible. Is the people, if you have the Portuguese people in mind, I will support you. I really admire the opposition in that aspect. But then, like I say, this misleading information causes a lot of problems. Still, 3 months in this pandemic, people don't know how the virus transmits. Still don't believe that it can stay in the air. Still don't believe that it can stay in objects. I know that the probabilities of catching a virus, touching an object and putting it in your face, it's like 15%, but they don't believe that. Uh, Misleading information got us a lot. It's still hurting us. Like I say, 300 cases in a day for the last
Yes.
1 month. It's going to be bad. It's going to be worse. I really hope I don't say this, but I think it will. But with
Like a second wave you're waiting for?
yeah,
Uh, like I said, second wave you're waiting for. I mean,
yes,
these days, yeah,
I think we are going to have a second wave as soon as August with the
think that
reopening of
yeah, I
of
think that
the
we will have sooner. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it's still a
but
problem. And we have the UEFA Final Champions League, and it's completely politic chaos because some people say that you're going to bring the Champions League, you're going to bring the fans with it. You are going to expand the virus, but it's going to complicate if you reopen our borders. But it's been 3 months. You are a very depending country in tourism. I know, I understand you have to reopening our borders, but it's not safe. It will be safe when people understand that this virus is grave. Not, I know that the younger people die less frequently than others, but impacts you have to stay 15 days at home. 15 days at home, one infected, the government will close down the factory. Factory of almost 20, I would say, for example, 20 to 30 to 200 people have to stay at home with a layoff, cutting the salaries. That's going to prejudice, it's going to be bad for the employer and the employee because they don't have to work, they can't work and still have the chance to be infected.
okay. So what I'm wondering is, it's like you say people are dying, and I feel sorry about it because people are literally dying, and it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a New Yorker, Upper East Sider, or you can be a desperate Middle East child, or you can be black, you can be white. No matter who you are, you can just be infected. Even Tom Hanks get infected. Uh,
Gentlemen.
if you have a money, it doesn't matter. So, do you think that um, looking at it, is better to be political or apolitical? How do
Uh,
you take it? Like,
The response has to be unpolitical. If you start politics,
Unpolitical.
yes, if you start politics in this, it's going to be a mess. We see this in our country, for example.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't want you to be like, we call it like a Chinese virus. I don't expect it.
No, no,
No,
no.
but it's the precautions because it's affecting your homeland. You have to declare a state of emergency. You have to put some new laws. Yeah, but you're still going through the relationships with the others, like even for the trade. So you have to act um, with a political attitude. Do you think that how should be?
Uh, First of all, it's not Chinese virus. I really don't
Yeah,
support, and I really don't like
I,
countries using
I
this.
didn't
I know it
I
is a
didn't say that. Yeah, it was a
it's a
correction.
amount, but the Trump is completely wrong. It's a humanitarian virus.
Okay.
It's not Chinese, but of course you have to be political in the situations. For example, economics. Economics, you have to be in. For example, the European Union with the recovery plan. I think it's a great tool to help fight this crisis. But you can be political to the terms in the economics, the plans, the social plan, the libertarian plan. So both parties have a plan for a plan of their own for this to solve this economic crisis. But regardless, to the medical problem, to the health conditions, it can be unpolitical. If you start to be political in that case, I don't know where this country will go.
Okay. So enough with politics, but because I wonder some how can I say? I don't want you to be talking back your country, or I don't want you to act and have an attitude like from the left side or the right side or the against the government. I don't want it, but I'm interested in, you're interested in. So if it's going forward, so you can just say, I don't want to answer. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering how it goes with the school,
The school,
the system, how it changed.
uh,
Is it to your advantage or inconvenience?
okay, the school, our government closed down all of the schools in, I think, March. Yes, March, the 11th. But the publics closed down 1 week after the privates because the privates don't have to be to take the information back to the government and so forward, as less restrictions of closing down. We opted in less than a week, opted for the online system. It's doing fine by me. It's a great experience, but I prefer the physical,
Face to
uh,
face?
yeah, face-to-face education. But some schools might will end up this year in online system. But for example, nursing school, we for the subjects of their classes, they have to reopen. They open in I think May. They open in May the 15th, 14th, I think. And I know it's complicated for all the students to get back to, for example, the university city, far away from their home, far away from their parents in this precise moment. But it's not all classes doing online, only the necessary. For example, practice uh, lab, for example, lab subjects is cannot be face to face for a manner of speak, and those subjects were open after the state of the emergency.
Okay. So talking about state of emergency, I wanted you to give us the decrees, but simply. I don't want you to read all the, the things they've declared, but with a frame, a general.
Okay,
What changed?
the state of emergency is necessary. It completely gave the government more powers to restrain our liberty. the freedom of movement. For example, in the eve, in the Saturdays, Sunday to Friday to Sunday, they close down completely. You can get out of our city and stay only in houses, in our home. Um, it can also was necessary to improve our conditions at jobs. For example, layoff was necessary to impose that, and completely gave, like I say, new powers. And especially a great job was to completely eliminating the let me say. Um, I'm just thinking. Okay, you can your rent owner, you can take you out of their house because you lost a job. The government imposed that.
Yes, that happened to us too.
Yeah,
They're trying to prevent the people there having rent, but not own their house. But it
yes.
has to be happen because where do all the people go?
If you put them in the streets, it's going to be in the streets. It's
Yes.
going to be very bad for them and very bad for the for the virus. It's the chances of transmitting there is going to be huge. Also, like I said, gave a lot of powers of cutting our freedom of movement was necessary. Imposed some factories, for example, if was not the case, but if was necessary to impose, for example, the fabric of testing or the fabric of medical clothes. The government had that power, but didn't use, was not necessary, and closed down the borders. Spain still closed, open next month, but it's going to be bad. Our situation and this our Spain situation is bad. Let's see how this going, how this will go. But give a lot of powers, but the most important was the freedom of movement that they completely control us. That still have you have a few limitation in the calamitic state, but it's not completely close to the state of emergency.
Talking what happened into your country. For example, they said that you have to stay at home for the next blah blah days, 10 days or 5 days, and people ran to the market and stocked all the pasta or all the things with a can. They did that.
In the first week, we have 100 cases, more or less. The people start panicking. In the first week, they completely run to the supermarket and buy everything completely. Toilet paper was not the case in here. I don't know, but not as the same level of the United States. But it was, and after good topic, because of our borders are closed, we started to buy Portuguese goods instead of Spanish goods, for example. They didn't distribute to Portugal, and our distribution center starts importing no, start distribution Portuguese goods.
Hmm. Okay. Here they made it like part of part. For example, they didn't say like it is forbidden for 15 days. Sorry, but for example, the weekdays you can go out because the government doesn't want people to stay home. At least the people who are um, productive, who are working and who support the economy. But the weekends were at home, so every week there was like crisis in the markets, in the streets, and when government wanted to help financially to the people, for example, the rent situation, and they literally give money to the people, to all people, and after they declared it on TV, tomorrow all the people was on the bank queue. All the people was. It was like a huge crowd of people around here. So this was also a fail, a big fail, and the market queues are also. So it's like, I don't know. It's supposed to be um, help, but it was like not an advantage. Like it was for harm. Yeah.
Was a good topic, giving money for older people to buy things. We didn't have the case for that.
Yes, but people people can just forget about their life for the money, so they went to the bank and then they got infected. I don't know what happened, but it was like, why?
It
I don't
was
know.
it is a good method if you online if our banking was more online. It was a good idea, but in the practice, I think it's going to be worse because our queues, for example, have to be 1.5 meters away, but still you can still get infected because you don't have a square for you don't have a stick, for example, to measure how 1.5 meters is, and so people join in gathering, and this it's complicated. Even if some stores opting for physical separation in the in the floor, for example, but still was no practice at all.
Are you living in the capital?
No, no, no. Thank God. Thank God.
No.
Thank God,
Yeah,
because
me
I'm
neither.
really, I'm really scared. It's a lot of population in the our capital is going to be it's going to be worse, and is very worse right now. Our 75%, 76% of our cases is from the capital from today.
Yeah, this is the same. I don't remember the numbers, but like um like 80% was in Istanbul. Not Istanbul was not the capital, but the most crowded city, as you know. And mostly the foreign people think that Istanbul is the capital, but because
Yes.
it's so famous, but it's not. It's not the capital, but it is the most crowded and developed city. So I was in a dorm. I was staying in a public dorm. Then they announced that the school was closed, and suddenly we got a plane ticket. So after that, from the dorm to the airport, I was like begging not to be infected, and it was all beginning, not always didn't mask enough, but it was just the beginning, and I was quite afraid. I said, okay, I'm gonna take it, and all my family will be infected. So fortunately, it didn't happen.
Thank God.
Yeah.
It's I was studying also in the second most crowded city in Portugal, and it's not the same dimension of Turkey, but it's 45 minutes away from home. And I was thinking, okay, I'll go in the public train and risk getting infection, or I'll call my parents and come get me. They did it is 45 minutes, and was more safe to go with them than to risk a lot in public transportations.
Yeah. Istanbul is, I think, crowded than your country, right? It's a
I
really small country.
what
Yeah.
Istanbul is
10 million people, your total number.
uh, uh, less than 11 million. The
Yeah,
correct
we're like here, like in Istanbul is like 16 million. So
okay.
I was like, because I was on research and I was looking at the number of prisoners in Portugal, the numbers. Then I saw why is it that much few? Then because I'm not good at map and I know where Portugal is near Spain, but I don't know the number. So I say, wow, it's a quite small country.
Right,
So
so Barcelona and Madrid are combined have more population than us.
yes. Okay. Do you want to talk about the law system, the new law system,
The
to
new law
continue
system.
going deeper, or you want to talk about Rio Pinto? Which one? We can just
Okay,
save it for the last, or
okay.
you can
Repeat.
choose it.
It's very complicated cases. First, it's a conflict of interests. I must say. Being said, I will focus briefly on the justice case because it's more shorter. And if I have time, I will talk about Rui Pinto because I started research about last week, I think, and what I saw from 2013 to 2020 was completely a mess and a completely failure, in my opinion. But but as I say that I will briefly talk about the justice system. Our courts in the March postponed of more than 50,000 cases. In some cases, opting for an online tool in more severe cases, and if a private agreement by the parties, they can put the case on online, but few people, few
Do you
people.
think that it's quite effective because seeing the cases on online via online, is it
Um,
um, that was right, or there has to be wait for the end, or you think that they did the right thing
in
on
some
online?
in some uh, in some cases, it's not it can be online, but in more completely cases, it's going to be presidential, gathering evidence and talking to the customer. You have to do this almost entirely in face-to-face manner. Online cases, for example, asking a license or something few of importance.
I think they're supposed to be doing it for the emerging cases
Yes.
because for the small cases you can't even be in the order of the giving a complaining sheet like um, how can I say, here is really like the water is not blowing, the cases are like waiting for. So I think if they're doing it, they're supposed to be a really important situation if they
Uh,
do it. So when you think that they see the important cases, you think that if they're judging it very well or not.
Important cases, the most important cases, for example, the Rio Pinto and the operation
Mhm.
for the former prime minister, they canceled that during because of the COVID-19. But like I say, if you accepted to do your case online, you can do that. But for our Supreme Court was completely shut off because they detected cases over there. So I don't completely shut off. But now is they are seeing normalcy. They are reopening after the state of the emergency, but still you have the possibility to do your case online.
Okay. What about the probation? I mean, you know what I'm saying? The people, the
Yes.
prisoners, inmates, releasing from
Um,
prison. They have
uh,
some decrees about it, I think. And I read that there are four conditions for being released.
for example,
As
um,
that.
the looking at the release of prisoners, of course, is to prison is a very risk location to get sick.
Yes.
So the objective of this was diploma was to prevent the spread of the virus with the enormous risk of spreading. to always protect human life regardless of what they have done. But so, the conditions for you to be released, like you say, it's four. But the object of this and the subjects will be released last week. You see a study of 300 already released. Was always the cases of people who are over 65 years old or physical or psychologically ill, but only if they don't present a risk for our society, and only if they did uh, a low crime, for example, not severe crimes like some politicians are saying that we're going to release the sexual predation or something like that, or a murder. That will never be the case, like our justice minister says. Um, it
And you're
can.
supporting it?
Oh yeah, so of course. If you don't prevent a risk for a society, and the risk of you spreading the virus in the prisons, it's very high, and so
Yeah.
65 years old, the guilt is almost over. They don't need to be in prison. Uh, this is only in one case. After that, we have 45 days out, and after that, we go back. You will go back to the prison or probation, parole. I must say that wrong. And the pardon of sentence was to 65 years old and presents no risk to our society.
Because why I ask you that, are you supporting it? Because there are some people, but with a hate, I guess, they say, let them stay there. This is their fate. This is their destiny. Why they are going out, taking advantage of the crisis. So, but there are some people there, they are not guilty, like the guardians, the health personnel, the
Yes,
all people,
we'll coming
even
to.
the people in, yeah, working in the kitchen, serving the prisoners' food. So this is a bit cruel. I support it too. Yeah.
Yes, because if you see if you commit a crime, it's not because you're born a criminal. We don't support that idea. That's ridiculous, and we
Hmm.
support the idea it's something wrong with our society, and so we have to fix them, like a matter of speak, rehabilitation, and put him back in our society. But it's our prison conditions, only talking about the prisons, can't do that. It's on a lower level that our goals.
Okay. So I want to go back to the Rui Pinto, if you
Okay,
want,
okay,
as a
let's.
last subject. Then I will just take the rope a little bit. Like,
Okay,
yeah, that was a massive talk. Just I really wonder because I talked to another friend from Portugal. He is from Porto, and I said, give me something that all the people are talking about it in your country. So when you hear it, you said that you're surprised that we hear it. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. It's not about the virus, the situation. It's not a pandemic crisis, but it's a huge problem. It seems like, yeah. I just wanted to know that.
um, okay. The first thing to understand how the Rui Pinto is enormous cases in Portugal is because uh, a big top team, Benfica, is in it, and Porto is also in it, and so. Like I said, it's a very complicated cases because one hand we have that he did several crimes. He committed, for example, I think at the beginning he was being judged for 147 crimes. Now it's only 90, but it's a lot of crimes that he committed. But in the other hand, we have seen that those crimes that the hack, for example, of the team that I mentioned above, Benfica, was to bring us some completely chaotic cases. For example, one of the leagues or football leagues that was the masterpiece of Rui Pinto. They hacked them. The
Was it
one league,
in, sorry, was it in 2015 when he just the Manchester City with the Manchester City?
the Manchester City in 2015, he started the football league's website, and if I recall it good, I think in also in 2015 he sent files to the European Investigation Council. Let me check. Collaboration, yes. And the IIC released those files and started, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo, City, Benfica, Porto, Barcelona, and a lot of more corrupt cases of football world.
Okay.
Um, Meaning that it demonstrates a lot of corruption along the world, all over the world. The Luanda Leaks, for example, a completely chaotic case again, but still, yeah.
He likes to be called as a whistleblower, you know? You
Yes,
heard it? He
for
doesn't like the name hacker. He wants to be called as a whistleblower, a
yes,
special name. And
because uh, against, for example, the Belgium, France authorities, they want to use them. They want to use the whistleblower, the Rui Pinto, as a witness to prosecute against tax fiscal crimes. And
hmm,
Portugal opposed that. Portugal and Russia at the beginning want to prosecute him and arrest him. It's a completely use of bad information because in the case, for example, the Benfica case is that demonstrates the corruption level in Portugal enormous, and it was archived because the all the Rui Pinto obtained those evidence. It's
hmm.
archive and the Luanda leaks. The Luanda leaks. I don't know. It's still ongoing. I can talk. I can say I can say much. Still ongoing. We are seeing, but for example, one completely stupid thing was Judge Carlos Alexandre. He was a victim of some act that Rui Pinto did, and still was the judge
A
of
victim?
what?
He was a victim?
Yes, and it was still
Okay.
the judge of the case. And for example, he was a Benfica fan, and due to a lot of public pressure, he stepped down of the case because of impartiality.
Hmm.
But the severe crime, and in my opinion, now is about. I will use him as a whistleblower to take down some. He has 7 terabytes of information about some corruption scandal. Is now collaborating with the police. It's on house arrest, but still will be judged for over 90 crimes. Uh,
He's in the house arrest, right? Not in the
yes.
prison.
No. He
Okay.
left in February.
Hmm.
He left in February, but still will going to be judged for 90 crimes. It's now working with the police to decrypt the hard drives that he had information of other people. In my opinion, I will judge him for the attempt of extortion in 2013 that he did to some sports firm. No, to the Colombian bank. He attempted extortion over the value of half a million to $1 million, and for example, Ana Gomez, one ex-politician of our own, is
I heard the name, but I didn't exactly get the information about she was doing. She was in which position? Anna Gomez.
I don't know where it's currently. I think it's European. I think he's in European Parliament.
Yes, in a European Parliament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that
But
because I wrote it. It's like she's a deputy. Yeah, but I don't know exactly
she
what who
moved
she is.
forward for the release of the Repinto. In our mind, the Repinto is never going to be charged because of what he did to bring us the scandal of the corruption, like I say, in the football leagues and Luanda leagues. And in their mind, we have to use them to go after those corrupt officials. But
Okay.
yes, a lot of Portuguese people still including myself, still think that it should be released, work with the police, go after the corrupt officers, and only in my view, I will judge him for the, like I said, the attempted extortion of the Colombian bank because it's a more severe crime that he did it. So we have to judge them. It's completely a mess. He was arrested in Budapest in 2000, 2019. Yeah, 2019. Was arrested in Budapest, waiting for extradition to Portugal, and in March the 21st, he came to Lisbon. Was put in a preventive prison, a private preventive arrests, and the Repinto lawyer put a case on the European Union against Portugal because of the violation of the special field. Uh, well, wait a second. Let me just.
Is there any problem?
Yes, I think you can hear me now.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Like I say, the lawyer of Dori Pinto put a case against Portugal on the European Union because of violation of the principle of specificity, because our number of crimes put it on the mandates for the extradition was not correspondent to the crimes that is going to be judged, and still did nothing because Portugal
Do you want
violated.
him to be judged, or are
I
you?
wanted I wanted to use them to go after the corrupt officers, but like I said, he committed several crimes and attempted extortion, and for that crime, I think he has to be judged. For
Yes.
have to be, but non 90 crimes. But like I said, it's a conflict of interest. Is in one hand, he did several crimes. On the other hand, those crimes were to bring us this corrupt scandal, and for that, it's a very complicated case. Like I mentioned, some people. In the first place, like I say, 147 crimes he is going to be judged, but some didn't press charges, so left dropped down to 19 crimes.
Um, can hear you now.
What?
Yeah. Your voice is just suddenly gone. There was just vision, but no audience, but it's okay now.
Okay. Because,
Okay. You were saying? Can you hear me?
no, no. I was asking if you can hear me now. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. It's already been 50 minutes, so I was about to just close, but I just want to general question. like not about the positive love, the current love, but um, thinking with the morality and the other values, but not the like with the, how can I say, when you think that you have the power to change all, um, but you have to choose one. For example, with a constitutional change, for example, not a small change. You can have it, you can have the power, you can make the change, a huge change, but you have just one choice. What would you do on this? For example, you can use it for
One,
the homeless child, for the animals, for the um, transsexual people. I don't know. You can choose it for which one, but with
uh,
the morality, not with the current love. That was I was about to say.
okay. If I have one choice, only one choice, in our constitutional rights, I will include right for a duty to fight the climate change, because in theory our rights is equal, but like I said, if you want to, for example, fight racism, the constitution already prevents that, but we have to be beyond that, be by beyond that. But if I have only one thing that I can change in our constitution is to put a duty to fight climate change for 2030, 30, for example.
Okay, so I have just last five verses.
Okay,
Like you have two choices, you will just choose one. All is not about the love, but I will do it, and then we can just say goodbye all the people that are watching us. Okay.
okay,
Okay. First, public love or private love,
public.
with the justifications, but
The justification.
yes,
I was like, I will always like public law because public law in the part of, for example, helping the others, but is helping the others. For example, the last, but it's private. Okay. Um, I'm thinking. No, I will go private law. It's more interested.
private law.
Yes,
Any special
thank
branches
you.
do you have, like a I don't know, trade or civil law or I don't
Civil,
know,
civil
civil
law.
law?
Yeah, yes, it's more in interest. I like criminal law, but civil law it's more complicated, more interests,
Yes.
and more deep.
Okay. The second, being a lawyer, being a judge, or public prosecutor, or doesn't matter. But I heard that in Portugal, uh, you have some lawyers, but they're working for the government also. So
Ah, yes.
you can take it from the government side. I'm asking, like, you want to be a governor worker, or you want to be independent lawyer?
No, if I have the possible, only those subjects I would like to be a judge because I have more power in my criteria, and it's going to be more complicated. It's going to be more, very more stressful, but judge,
Judge? Okay.
yes.
Because here, all our parents wants to be that, like your position is very special. You have a driver. Your name is so important. Your position is so important. But being a lawyer, they see you a bit worthless, and they think that all the lawyers are lying. I
Ah,
don't know
yes.
why. Yes, they already admire the judges or the prosecutors, but I don't know. Maybe I'll go because I'm kind of person that is can't be connected to be there. For example, because when you're a lawyer, you can just even defend a terrorist. There is no problem with it. But being a judge or a prosecutor, you have to choose your steps, your next words very well. So it's a bit stressing. I don't know that I could handle it, or I don't know. Yeah.
No,
Okay, the third one.
great. Exactly.
Um, Messi or Ronaldo? I don't know if you're a football fan.
Yes, message.
Because my next question is about the two Turkish teams.
Oh, okay.
But for this one,
Uh,
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi,
Why?
Messi, Messi.
Why? Ah,
Uh,
because okay,
okay, he's playing football. I like most the style of Messi playing football than Ronaldo. It's more beautiful. But I'm really happy I can see them both playing. But if I have to choose one, Messi.
okay. And there are two famous team that called Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe. Do you know them?
Yes.
Do you know both?
Yeah. Yes, I
Okay.
talked to some Turkish fans uh, from Galatasaray when they can play to Portugal, and they always laugh.
Okay. So which one do you prefer?
Uh, I like to say Besiktas.
Half of the Beşiktaş.
Yes,
Okay. I was about to say that half of the people will hate you or half of it will like you, but you just said that yeah.
all of them hate me now.
But why?
Uh, first of all, we have a Portuguese. It was a Portuguese player there, and second,
Ah, okay.
I don't know, but the fans of Besiktas, they come to Portugal. They came to yes last year to play against Braga. Yes, I think, and I had a little talk about with them, and they was it was a lot of fun. And
Okay.
so they convinced me to Besiktas.
Okay. So the last question is Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad?
Game of Thrones.
Okay. I would go for the Breaking Bad, but okay.
No, Game of Thrones.
Okay, Carlo, Pablo, Pedro. Okay, sorry.
No problem.
That was all for today. I'm
Okay,
so glad that you were here because I barely even see my friends in the neighborhood. I don't even see them. So that was really, really nice to have you from miles, miles away. So I'll thank you for all.
thank
And
you very
yeah,
much. Thank you very much
do
for
you have
allowing me to be
any
part of this.
question or anything to say?
Uh, more political questions than law answers, law questions.
Do you want to check that if we have questions? I think we have. Sorumuz varsa alabiliriz. I think we don't have a question, so we can end it.
Okay,
Okay?
okay. It was very nice. Uh, I'm sorry for
That
my
was a
English,
great pleasure.
completely slaughtered.
No, you didn't. You didn't have to be sorry. It was my fault because I'm a bit excited. This is my first time because yeah, you did very well, and I'm glad that you carried all the burden on me. That was supposed to be on me. You had it very well, so I thank you. So
Bye.
goodbye.
Thank you very much. Bye. All the good for you and for the spectators. Bye.
Bye.